Hi BookTube and random viewers who just searched this term and came across my video. I'm here today to talk to you about how to write an essay without having read the book. I know it's the end of the year and a lot of people are, scrambling to get things done before summer comes and they can enjoy themselves and not have to worry about writing essays for a long time again. So I'm going to pass along some of the skills that I developed as an English student. Throughout the years, I'll admit I didn't read every book that I wrote an essay on. I found ways around it, and I think that's an important skill, actually, as a student to develop. So, first of all, read the book. And what I mean by that is read the first and last paragraph of each chapter. To just, it will go very quickly, or just read, 3 or 4 lines if the paragraphs are quite long, or there's no paragraphs. We know there's books like that. Just to kind of get an idea of the plot, so it will help you get through the book quicker. And if there's something that you feel applies to the essay topic that you want to write, then you can go further and, skim read and try and find important points and passages and quotes that you want to use. Maybe even watch the movie to get an idea of the plot if you have no idea what the plot is, if there is a movie version. I know for me, the first time I did this, it was with Pride and Prejudice in my grade 12, and it was the first book I ever came across that I was like, I really don't want to read this book. But I had to write an essay on it. So the only thing for me to watch was the miniseries, which is like 7 hours long. I didn't realize that when I first started watching it, but that just shows that I really didn't want to read the book. Not that I didn't have time to read the book, but I didn't want to read it. So there's different reasons why you may not want to read the book, or you may not have the chance to read the book. There's ways around that. Okay. Another way that you can find quotes in certain passages and ideas and stuff is to find an online version of the text. So there's different ways to do this. First, obviously, is get an ebook version of it. And if you have, even on your computer or your Kindle or whatever you use to read ebooks, there should be a search function. And you can use that search function to look for keywords and phrases, which I think is very helpful. Another way to do that is if the book is in the domain, a public domain, you can use the Gutenberg project, which is searchable. It will just load either in your browser or in a PDF, and you can search that way. Another way, if you can't get your hands on the book, you don't want to spend any money on it, is to go to Google Books and search the book, and then search keywords, and you'll just get little sentences. You won't get, you might get full pages in some text, or you might just get snippets here and there, but I found it very useful to do that. So say if I wanted to write about, I'm trying to find a book that's not in the public domain, American Gods. I love American Gods, don't get me wrong, but if you have to write an essay about it and you don't want to read it, and you don't want to spend money on getting the ebook, it's not in the public domain, go to Google Books, search American Gods, and then search keywords, and sentences and phrases and everything will pop up for you that will help you write your essay and gather quotes and everything for your book. Another thing I suggest doing is if you're looking to develop your ideas, your thesis, the points that you want to make for your thesis, check out review sites. Goodreads, I also suggest Reddit. Their books subreddit is really good. And Amazon reviews, they're not the best I find, for analysis and everything like that, but it's there if you can't find anything on Goodreads or Reddit. And they're helpful even if you have read the book and are just looking, you don't think you quite get it, and you're looking for more information to put in. It's like 3 a.m. in the morning, and you got to get this essay done before tomorrow, and you can't call up someone in the class because, it's 3 a.m. and they're probably sleeping, or they're probably also working on their own essay. There's ways around this. But if you are using those sites, just make sure that you can back up those claims. Remember, you're writing an essay, and so if someone says something really good on Reddit, for example, you can't source, username, oh, there's some really messed up ones on there. But you can't, they're not a legitimate source for you to claim. So take that claim and Google it and see if you can find other backed up evidence for that. Yeah. It's also possible to search for citations from outside your main source. So if you're writing an essay, say, on Charles Bukowski, it's good not just to use, Ham on Rye as a source. Look at other stuff that, scholars have written. And there's a way to do that too. You don't just have to go to the library and get the books because, as I said, it's 3 a.m., the essays are due tomorrow, the library's closed. Here's what you can do to do that. You can use online sources. Just, hopefully the article's in the public domain and you can find it, right? You can use Google Books. I did that a lot because either the library didn't have the books that I wanted, or it was 3 a.m. in the morning and the library was closed and I was writing the essay late. Or I just didn't feel like going to the library when I knew that I could access these resources in other places, right? So you search, when you do your search in your thing, you'll come across so-and-so said this, right? So you can actually take their name and search up the quote and actually find it in their article or in their book, again, using Google Books. Or if you're a student and you have access to something like JSTOR or something like that, that gives you access to scholarly articles and stuff, use those sources, for sure. Yeah. And there's ways to see articles behind paywalls. I know that's a big issue. I'm going to link, I'm not going to tell you how to do it because I haven't done it in such a long time, but there are ways to get around paywalls. So I'll link in the description bar sites that will help you navigate that. But if it's not 3 a.m. in the morning and you just really want to use this article and you have some time, try actually emailing the author of the article and say, look, I'm really interested in using your article in my essay, my thesis. Is there any way that you could send me the article for free? And chances are that they will, because they're not really getting paid a lot when their articles are behind a paywall. So yeah, it's good to contact the author of the articles. You can also, and I've had this happen, reach out to booktubers or book bloggers for their thoughts. And again, make sure that you can back up those claims with legitimate sources, because however much, Steve Donahue is a bona fide expert, your teacher professor may not accept him as a source. So make sure that, take what he says and make sure that it can be backed up either through in-text sources or through outside text sources. And again, another thing that teachers don't quite understand is Wikipedia. Use Wikipedia. Don't source Wikipedia. So I'm going to explain what I mean by that. When you are on Wikipedia, you'll notice that they have, if they make a claim or fact or something, it always has those little numbers which link down to footnotes. What you want to do is source the footnote. If you can, if it's a website, click on it, link it. If it's an article, do that whole Google thing, look for the book, contact the author, or even just rephrase the Wikipedia phrasing and use the source that they use as your source in your work cited. So it is good to use Wikipedia because it's a compendium of all this information, as long as it is cited information. Yeah, so that's it. Another thing I'm going to provide in the description bar down below is a site that will tell you how to cite sources, or it will cite it for you. If you have to do MLA or Chicago or APA, it's been a while since I've had to do this, so I don't know if those are still the ones that you're using. But what you do is you just hit like the website or the name of the book, or the YouTube video or the TV show or whatever you want to cite, and it select the format you want it in, and it will cite it for you. It's really helpful. I used it a lot. I pass it on to a lot of students who have trouble with bibliographies. So yeah, that's it. Oh, and another warning, actually, before I go, is do not use those free essay sites, even for just a portion of your essay, because you will get caught. And I'm not even talking about like universities where you have to submit it through a plagiarism site. I had it happen when I was doing my high school, I was doing my teaching internship for a high school class, and all of a sudden this person's language just really changed in the essay, and I was just like, that doesn't sound right. Like, that doesn't sound like they wrote that. Like, because all the rest of the essay sounds like them, but then this one passage, which is really good, by the way, just doesn't seem like them. And it turned out I Googled it, and I got it from a free essay website, and I was like, come on, you plagiarized. Like, I unfortunately, I have to give you a 0. And ask you to write the essay again, because you copied and pasted from something and didn't source it. So yeah, that. Make sure your citations are good. So I hope this is somewhat helpful, that you're able to use these resources. I'll also add a link to Google Books in case you don't know how to get to Google Books. I mean, hopefully you know how to Google, because that's going to be your saving source. Yeah, thank you, and have fun writing your essay. Hope you get it done.